And our time now is 8:48 on our Friday morning. And in the news this morning, landmark legislation in California this week. It allows college athletes to profit on their name, image, and likeness without repercussions regarding their eligibility for or scholarships.
So Alabama and Miami Dolphins great Bob Baumhauer joins us by phone this morning to talk about this new law and how it could affect college sports across the nation. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning. It's my pleasure.
So let's talk a little bit about this law. This actually gives college athletes a chance to make some money while they're in college. What's your take on how this could impact college sports?
Well, I got to tell you, it's my view on this has changed through the years. For a long, long time, you know, I was one of the folks saying it's an amateur sport, and you go to school, you get an education, you get a lot of benefits for being a scholarship athlete, all the above. But the game has changed so much, and it's become big business from a lot of different ways, whether it's related to, you know, the game itself, going to the game, ticket prices, all the above, or whether it's the licensed products out there right now that a lot of these universities make millions and millions of dollars off of. And my youngest is a freshman, redshirted freshman at Alabama, and so I go to games from, you know, time to time, and it's so expensive to go to a football game these days, and especially when you're talking about, you know, some of these Division I schools. I think they should do everything they can for these players so that they can have some help. You know, getting through school, there's so much asked of them. So I think it's a good thing that there's some compensation coming into them in a game that's changed a lot and really in a lot of ways is big business these days.
It definitely seems like there's a lot of added pressure when it comes to talking about something like that as well.
And when we look at this, if California does this and other states don't, like say in our area, do you think that puts people at an advantage or a disadvantage when it comes to recruiting?
You know, that's a really good question. And recruiting is so important these days, as we all know in the Southeast and the SEC and all the things that go along with how big football is in the South. It's definitely something that's going to be interesting to watch. I really feel like the NC2A ought to get involved here, and probably they ought to get in a handle on this from a more comprehensive point of view from their part in the game, and try to get this to be as much as possible a level playing field for all included, and not make it a state-to-state thing. But it's just going to be interesting. It's a really good question on how it's going to affect other states and other football programs.
Mr. Baumhauer, thank you so much for taking the time to weigh in on this with us this morning. We really appreciate your insight, being that you have played at all those levels on football. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Y'all have a great morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You too. And we should mention that this law in California doesn't go into effect until 2023. It is one we will be watching.
For sure. Some time to still try to figure out some of those kinks in there, but definitely a good discussion to start off with.
Absolutely. We are watching and talking.
Yeah.
Here's a question.